Good morning. So this morning my friend Jenny here and myself have got 10 minutes to just run through where I get my inspiration for colour and design from. So anyone who knows me knows that I love a reference book, and I have some wonderful friends that do actually pass things on to me, knowing my passion. But also there's others that I have found to be really useful, because every interior needs to be practical to live in. And for this purpose, I would highly recommend books about loving your home with practical tips on how we can make tiny houses livable, make spaces warm, all those kind of practical things. And I found this one to be really useful and inspirational. It's not particularly new, but love it anyway. So I've also got a friend who owns a property in Italy, and she has gifted me this amazing book just for rustic charm and mixes of colours, because the Italians are really good at simplifying colour schemes. It's not for everyone, but it really does give you a calm finish. The Italians just know how to relax, in my opinion, and they're quite good at doing dreamy interior scapes. But I can't, there's not enough time in 10 minutes to show you all of the books that I've got. I'll do some more videos later, but generally it goes along with my philosophy that if you find a picture that you really absolutely love all of the colours in, you've probably found your personal palette. And I'm quite a strong believer in personal palettes. And so this is my personal palette. This piece of silk painting and I'll tell you which reference book this is because it's a V&A book, just perfectly sums up the colours that I just gravitate towards them in anything, in any shape or form. So so this book, which is called Spectrum, is all about how artists of the past have used colour to create a feel and a mood and pattern and weighted it. So this side, this shows how it all works when it's all joined together, and this shows the weight of the colours. So this scheme is predominantly the dark green, and then you've got these complementary colours. But as you can see, when you mix them all together, you just have a lovely group, and you can use those colours as a basis for a room. If you say you don't like all of that green, but you like these colours, it is easy to block out like that to see, but you will always need a dominant colour. So if you take away that as your dominant colour, you have to think, right, no, I don't like that green, but you do need to decide which of these you want to dominate your scheme. So by doing that, you can see this would calm the whole scheme down, but if you did that, you'd be heating the whole scheme up. I hope that makes sense, because it's really hard to explain. And a big thing that you have to remember is which one you're going to call your neutral, because flooring makes a huge difference in a scheme. We all tend to look from the floor up, and we look at the ceiling and we look at the windows and we look at everything else, but we don't actually think, well, how's the flooring going to affect your room? And in some ways, if you had a relatively calm scheme, you could add in a really bright or dark flooring. You don't have to have this on the walls for it to be your main focus. So that's my personal favourite scheme. And then I've picked out some others that are quite different. So this one, again, the main scheme, I keep losing my notes, but the main scheme is these neutrals, but the heat comes from the energy of how the other colours are all mixed in. And I think you can easily create this. When you think about a sofa and you've got a very neutral sofa, but you want to bring in all this colour, really mix it up. You can do it with stripes, splodges, texture, pattern, anything. But the important thing is that you don't overwhelm your neutrals, and your neutrals need to complement. And a little fascinating thing, I don't know if anyone remembers the story with the... Oh, useless at keeping these pages. The grey or the blue dress, or grey or green or whatever it was. This is a prime example, because if you look at this, it is quite clearly blue. However, on the picture, because of the mix and where it is with the within the colours, it looks mauve. So how you put colours together will change the way that they look, which is why you can't really choose anything in a showroom. Okay. Have we got time for another quick one?
Yeah.
20
minutes.
Right, I'm only going to do one more. So this is the Sleeping Beauty wallpaper that was originally... You probably, if you're into your old fabrics and your classics, would recognise the background design as Briar Rose. However, it was originally brought into the world as a non-toxic, safe wallpaper for nurseries. So I don't know, I probably need to come fairly close. You can see this is Sleeping Beauty. So you've got Sleeping Beauty and you've got, you know, the prints, and you've got little animals to find. I mean, I have to say, I would adore this maybe in a bathroom now, just simply because it's just, you could spend hours just looking at it. However, back in the late 19th century, wallpapers were still being printed with arsenic paints and inks. So when we think about how things are moving on, and the fact that we can get fabric ordered, printed to order, we can get wallpaper printed and to order, because we're all trying to do our bit to save the planet and not over order and all of those things. It's only, what's that, 120, but my maths is not that good, maybe 125, 150 years ago, they were trying to figure out how to print without poisoning children. So, but I just thought that was a real fun fact that, you know, back in the day, nursery wallpaper was heralded as the new, safe, just fantastic new product of the time. And thank God for those pioneers, to be fair. So, anyway, this muted palette is enough to send anyone off to the land of the dreams. So anyway, that's it for now. If you want to see more, or you want to have a look at your own, or get your own copy of this book, it is, and I'll put it below, Heritage Patterns and Colours by Thames and Huston, with the V&A, and it is just full of the most beautiful highlights and resources of how you can bring a curated scheme into your life, really. But we will reference this book, because obviously I'm sharing someone else's writing, and that's it, really. Any comments? Come back to us.